Ahora vamos a terminar nuestro proyecto. ¿Se acuerda que hicieron su color de la piel y le pusimos ojos, nariz y boca? Ahora vamos a ponernos el pelo.
In a SEAL classroom that's so much about description and learning to label your world and talk about your world, language makes sense to them for something they can touch, that's tangible, or something they can see, or something they interact with. And when it's more conceptual than that, they still need some kind of visual support to enable them to understand what this thing is that we're really talking about.
Oh, miren este. Este se oye ¿cómo? ¿Cómo se oye? Pero ¿cómo se siente si fuera pelo? ¿Como tu pelo? ¿Como pelo de plástico más seco? Ese es un pelo más seco. A ver, tóquenlo. El pelo, digan, seco.
So the job of an early childhood educator that's concerned about supporting optimal language development for young children has to be thinking about, how can I make this real? How can I make this tangible? How can I make it visual? How can I make this comprehensible to children?
So el pelo de Rita está suave y Rita tiene el pelo café, pero Rita quiere el negro. ¿Tiene el mismo? A ver, dile, toma Rita, platica con ella, dice que es igual al tuyo. Deténlo, a ver, compara con el de ella. ¿Cómo es el tuyo y cómo es el tuyo? Dile. Dile lo que dijiste ahorita. El tuyo es duro.
The most obvious way is if we could actually give them experiences with everything. If you're digging in mud and learn the word mud and dirt and all that, it makes obvious sense because we can give them that direct experience. If you're studying zoo animals, you can't bring a giraffe and an elephant into the classroom. So there's the making things really tangible by bringing them to them, but then there need to be ways to help them see and understand things that aren't exactly tangible.
¿Quién más? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es ese? ¿Qué animal?
Un caballo.
¿Ese es un caballo? Mira este. ¿Cuál es este?
Ok, ya no van a jugar ahí. Recójame eso.
Ese es el donde vas a poner el caballo.
In a SEAL classroom, teachers keep up almost a constant narration that goes with what's going on. So children are seeing, we're jumping up and down, and the teacher's saying, we're jumping so high. So they're attaching those words to the physical experience of jumping. The narration goes with the action. That's one way to make language tangible and give it meaning and give it to children so they understand what it means and can use it for themselves.
I have some pictures here that show the ants eating. So remember the book said the leaf cutters grow their own food, but here is this type of ant who has used its mandibles or its jaws to cut the leaves. Here we see an ant eating those small insects. What were they called? Do you remember? What did the book call them? They were aphids. Aphids. So you can see the insect.
Teachers need to do some planning ahead. I'm going to need photos of this animal and its habitat and what it eats and where it lives. So developing photos and a photo library is a key task. Then it's the use of those along with the language. So you're looking at the photos with children, talking about what they see in it, what you see in it, giving them the vocabulary to attach to that experience and that meaning. And then having them do their own writing based on those photos. So observation photos, realia, if we're going to be studying about corn on a farm, I'm going to bring in corn.
¿Y de la milpa qué sacamos? ¿Qué sacamos? Hay más. Elotes. Elotes.
If we're studying insects, I'm going to need to plan for, gee, once they've really learned about those ladybugs, I can get some from the nursery and then release them in our yard so they can actually see the ladybugs landing on the plants and flying around the yard.
Rojo o negro. Y hay más.
¡Había esos astros! ¡Voló! ¡Se voló, corazón! You can bring pumpkins in. We don't have to go to a pumpkin field. We can bring them in and cut them open in the classroom and see what it feels like and what the seeds are like. There are multiple ways to bring the realia and to create the environment in your classroom where children can interact with the content and use the language.
Estas son las semillas. ¿Están ricas? Tienen un poquito de sal. ¿Sí? A mí me gusta. ¿Te gusta?
Sometimes the making things visual is a matter of teachers drawing and sketching while she's talking to students.
We don't call them fins. We call them flippers. Can you say that with me? Flippers. What makes that sound? F. So here is my F. Flippers.
You're going to hear the word associated with what I'm drawing, and I'm going to show you a photo. So they've got the sketches in front of them that they've seen develop in front of their eyes. They've got the photos of what it has looked like in some real places. Multiple ways to bring these things alive for children.
The ladybug has spots. So I'm going to quickly sketch a ladybug. It's kind of like a circle, right? And it has its wings. What color are the wings?
Red.
Red. It has red wings. And on the wings are the spots that Sergio talked about.
In a SEAL classroom, sometimes what we're trying to help children develop an understanding of is somewhat more conceptual. And it really helps to use graphic organizers. Graphic organizers signal to the brain the relationship between ideas.
And what stage is that?
The eggs.
The eggs. Very good. Who has the second stage in the ladybug's life cycle? Come on up, Allison, and say, I have
The
the larva. Great job. Right underneath the eggs. Perfect. Just like that.
By using manipulatives on a graphic organizer, children can begin to understand compare and contrast. They can begin to understand description. They can begin to understand quantification.
¿Cuál insecto tiene menos? ¿La abeja o la mariquita?
La abeja y la tampa.
¿Cuál es el que tiene menos, que tiene poquitos? ¿Cuál es?
La mariquita.
¿Cómo sabes que la mariquita tiene
Porque
menos?
tiene 3.
Porque solamente
Y
tiene
este
3.
tiene la...
And the interesting, important thing about graphic organizers, other than it signals to the brain these relationships and helps kids develop the language of, for example, description, they work the same in all languages. So you can use that same set of manipulatives and that same graphic organizer of a web and talk about it in Spanish, talk about it in Vietnamese, talk about it in English, and it's the exact same structure to show all of these characteristics are related to this central object. So if we want language to have meaning for young children, if we want them to develop that language, number one, teachers have to be thinking about how can I make this tangible and real and visual and comprehensible.
I want us to work with this trash, and I want us to put it in 4 different categories. And I want us to separate everything. That's sorting. Remember we did sorting? So we have to sort it out.
Secondly, as you're making these things visual, they need the language that goes to it. So talk, talk, talk. Engage them in talking about these visuals and the way in which their comprehension is developing.
And then you've learned about the crab. What does the crab have?
Pictures.
Pictures.
Third, recognize that to do that talking, they need the vocabulary. So be very conscious about teaching the vocabulary, not just of the things that they're learning, but those concepts and those language functions, like how to talk about compare and contrast.
La abeja es amarilla, me dijeron que la mariquita tiene puntos y que la abeja tiene rayas.
How to talk about description, how to talk about sequence.
Primero, el huevo.
Y
Después,
la oruga.
la oruga. Siguiente, crisálida. Y finalmente se convirtió en una mariposa.
All of these are examples of the ways in which we make things tangible, visual, comprehensible to children, and particularly for children who are functioning in and across 2 languages.
Donde guardan sus alas transparentes debajo, ¿cómo se llama esa parte de arriba?
Están buscando.
El
Mira qué está haciendo ella.
¿Qué está haciendo?
Buscando ácidos.
¿Está buscando ácidos?
Mano.
Mira, levantó
voló.
sus élitres y se fue.